Well, we've been really excited to welcome the Blonde Welder into Ruction Nation and our community. So thank you for taking time to join our show.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Deal. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do?
So I'm 24. I live in Canada, BC specifically. I am a industrial welder, ironworker with millwright experience. So I basically just get hired out as a welder contractor and whatever the job entails from there. Sometimes it's millwrighting, sometimes it's ironworking. And I'm always on call, so my work schedule changes a lot. The work is not consistent. So these days I've been home, but most of the time I am a traveling welder.
It's fun. How did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Well, when I was in high school, I was 17 and knew that an office job was not going to be for me. So right out of high school, my mom enrolled me in a trades discovery program for women. And I went through that, did all the different trades, obviously chose welding. And after that, I did my 6.5 month foundation program and I really loved it. And yeah, I've never looked back. I guess I just kind of knew that I wanted to be in the trades from a young age, and the options were there. Like, they just had started this Women in the Trades course. This was 6 years ago, so it was a little bit less popular back then. Um, but at the time, it was the best decision, and I'm still happy I do it. It's great money. So,
So you said that it was a little less popular back when you started. Is it kind of ramping up these days? You think?
I mean, yes, in a nice way. Every every girl's a welder nowadays, which is awesome. It's great to see it. But no, there's a huge influx of women in trades, especially I think in the last 3 years. Um, so yeah, there's definitely way more women out there than there was when I was first starting. Like out of the course of the women that I was in that course with, only one of them became a welder, and that was me.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
the exact percentages, but obviously it's a skewed scale, men versus
Mhm.
women in the trades, and both Cody and I have noticed that there's a lot more women coming into it. I would say in the last 5 years. Can you just tell us about your experience being a woman in the trades? Just kind of, I
Do
know
you
it's kind
want
of it's
what
a
kind of story are you looking for? I can give you a good one, or I can give you a uh
we want to hear all of it, honestly, if
okay.
you're willing to share.
Um, so being young, I mean, I respectfully, I've always been like a a skinny little blonde girl, so it was really harder for me to get the respect I think that I was hoping that I would just get right away going into the trades. I was 17 years old. I started as a laborer, so I kind of was able to season myself being in a male dominated industry from such a young age. Um, I was working at auto parts stores, so I was constantly around men. So I think I got it in my head from a pretty young age how they were. Like I was 17 years old working at the car parts place, and they called me jailbait. Like I didn't have a name; my name was jailbait. So I've kind of unfortunately just been sexualized from a young age in this industry, and that's the choice I had to make within myself getting into this industry. That's why I always tell people, you really have to love your job if you're gonna do this type of thing, because the men will probably ruin it for you. Um, but yeah, it definitely wasn't easy for my first few years as a tradeswoman. I was just young and naive, and I fell victim to a lot of things I don't think people should when they're that age. I had no guidance. I was going out to out of town jobs, and I was young and I didn't know any better. But I guess I should say I'm grateful for the men that there are sometimes that do protect young women in the trades. It can be it can be hard when you feel like you have an entire crew of men against you, and there's like not one single man that you feel like has your back. So that's definitely like a negative side to the trades. But on the good side of things, I mean, like I've met so many amazing people, women and men, who I still are in my life to this day and help me with jobs and stuff. But being a girl in the trade's it's never been easy. Like, I would be lying if I said that we get stuff handed to us all the time. Like, that's not the case. We got to work 10 times harder to do anything that you guys would do. So that's my experience as a woman in the trades.
Yeah, do you have like a certain story for a young lady or a lady who's been in the trades for a long time that they could kind of resonate with, where you had to go the extra mile?
Um, I'm trying to think of one that's like wasn't in like illegal. Okay, so this year I worked on a shutdown I was scheduled to be there for a month. It was out of town, 10 hours away from where I live. And I showed up and was, doing my welder millwright job at this shutdown. And about 3 weeks in, this other girl that I worked with, um, she didn't like me. Now she was older than me, and I'm not sure if it was like an attention thing or whatever, but she basically I took a company grinder from her without asking her permission, and then she turned around and screamed at me for it. And then after work, tried to fight me in the parking lot for taking her grinder. And then basically the next day, I came in and I was fired. So
Hmm.
if there's one lesson any young women in the trades can learn is don't trust everybody, and especially don't trust other women that try to be your friend right away, because a lot of them don't like you. They just want to be you. And you got to watch who you trust in the industry, because one day you'll be smiling and happy at work, and then the next day you'll be laid off over a girl who probably was sleeping with the right person.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't compare anything that I've experienced to being a woman in the trades, but your story does sound familiar. I mean, we kind of dealt with the exact same
Mhm.
kind of scenario between two guys. Someone borrowed someone else's tools without asking, and yeah, it just construction or industrial welding or manufacturing or any skilled trade industry. We talk about this a lot. There's just egos that you got to deal with. A
Mhm.
lot of egos. And I mean, for me personally, just kind of setting my ego aside, and sometimes that can be kind of a snowball effect. If you say your ego aside, maybe the next guy will, and the next guy or gal will, and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Does that resonate with you at all? Or, I mean, I'm sure you
Um,
deal with a lot of
yeah.
egos yourself.
Um, yeah, I think it's like sometimes high school and hard hats for sure. Like, you have
Hmm.
to deal with a lot of personalities, and fights happen and disagreements happen, but we definitely live in a world where it's a boys' club, and if you're not nice to the right person, then you're not going to get the job. And that's where it's like it's shitty, because we have guys with egos and
Hmm.
want to have this boys' club, and then there's no room for anyone else that's actually just there to like show up and do their job and not care about drama or touching company tools.
So how
So
do you personally get through all of that? Do you have to have a certain mindset going into work?
yeah. Smoking a lot of weed helps. I just have really just tried to emotionally regulate. Obviously, this wasn't like my first time getting laid off from a job. It was just my first time getting laid off this way. So like, layoffs happen all the time. That's something you have to prepare yourself for if you're working in this industry. Um, because work comes and goes all the time. And um, I don't know, I guess preparing myself for people like in the field, I know that my goal is to show up to work and make money. And my goal sometimes used to be, well, I want to make friends, and I want everyone to like me, and I want my crew to fit in. But I realized as I got older, like that's not what's important. And I realized once I stopped focusing on like all the drama and all the work politics and who's friends with who, I realized like I actually got better at my job. and the people around me respected me more when I gave up trying to be like nice and friends with everybody. So it's better to just come to work, put your head down, and whoever comes to you, like you gotta see consistency in people in the workplace. You can't just be friends with people who you click with on day one, because those are the same type of people that by day 30 will sneak you out and get you fired. So
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I we did kind of glaze over the program that you talked about that your mom enrolled you in.
mhm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? I've never heard of a program like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, Trades Discovery for Women, it was a program at the local trade school in my city, and it consisted of about 10 to 15 women, I believe. So there was a bunch of us, which was great. And so this was the fall of 2019. So I don't believe that women in trades were quite desired at that time. And so getting into this, it was kind of a major thing for me, because I had never really touched a lot of tools prior to that. So it starts off the first week, you do a lot of safety orientation and you kind of listen to lessons about what it would be like walking on a job site. And then I believe the first week was carpentry. So they threw us in the carpentry shop for the first week and we built a shed and we learned how to use hammer and nails. And, I'm sure you can picture a bunch of women in a carpentry shop. So um, it was really fun. And then they also had learning weeks where we would just do blueprints and learn how to read different blueprints from welding to ironworking to carpentry, um, learning how to write a professional trades resume and a cover letter. Um, we did a week of ironworking, which included fall protection. So we all got fall protection tickets from that. We got our forklift tickets from that. We learned electrical. I learned how to wire a light switch and a outlet, which I can still do to this day. Um, and yeah, it was 3.5 months. So it was from September to the end of December. And basically, once you finish that program, you are left to walk away with your skills. You get, believe, fast track enrollment in the next trades program that you chose to do. So I got fast track enrollment in welding. And then you also got I think it was a $1,500 grant to go into your trades program of your choice.
Oh, that's cool. How did
So it's a great program.
that is awesome. So is that something
Yeah.
that's specific to Canada, or is it like kind of
Um,
everywhere?
So I don't think so, just because like I said, women in trades is a lot more popular nowadays. I feel like there is trade sampler courses if anyone was to look into their local trade school or technical school in the area. And I think if you a simple search just trade sampler course would I think that would be the best option there, because I'm pretty sure it's getting a lot more popular for people that want to get into a trade but don't exactly know what they want to do yet.
Right. So
So
how did you decide welding over carpentry?
I love dirty, disgusting, rusty metal, lots of
Sure.
sparks flying and fires and heat, and just I chose to go down the dirtiest, roughest lane possible. I couldn't tell you why. I think I just liked the aspect of turning nothing into something, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Do you have
Mm.
your most proud moment
Oh my gosh.
this far in your career?
Um, I don't know if it's I don't know if I'd say proud. Well, proud. Mm, I don't know. I don't know if it's really career related, but I mean, I I sorry, I'll have to cut this. I'm stuttering. I welded at the hospital that I was born at.
That's cool. That's
So
really
I was
cool.
born at Royal Columbian Hospital in Westminster, and a couple of years ago we were doing the full renovation on that hospital, which I thought was a really cool full circle moment for me.
Yeah, that's very wholesome.
Yeah.
I can resonate with that. Nick and I are both superintendents for a general contractor here in Colorado,
Mm.
in the United States, and so the building that we're actually currently building, I grew up or my high school days were like 15 minutes just south of where we're at. So building in the community that kind of built who I am. So I
Yeah,
completely get that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also the high school that my sister went to high school at in Burnaby, I also did the renovation on that high school too, which was cool. I didn't go there, but my sister went there, and that was cool because she's 9 years older than me, so
Oh,
I
wow.
basically tore down her old high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a pretty big family that you came from, or?
No, small dysfunctional family. It's just me and my mom. My father is absent. He exists somewhere, but he did not contribute into any person that I am today. And my older sister, she is a heavy equipment operator for the railroads.
Oh,
She
fun.
started when she was, I believe, 19 or 20, has been doing it ever since. So she's been kind of like my blueprint to life, no pun intended.
That's cute. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you, do you have a mentor from your trade school or from any of the companies you've worked for?
No. No, I have pretty much had to do everything on my own, and I think maybe that's why I'm not as far as I would like to be. But I'm still proud of myself for where I'm at because no, I didn't have anyone really. I've done everything I've done on my own.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
mom has not really
something to be
helped.
proud of, though. I mean,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, for sure. Can you? So I'm not super familiar with the sector. We do, we call it resimercial. It's like apartment buildings, multifamily
Okay.
buildings. So partially commercial, partially housing. Can you just walk us through what your sector mostly does?
Yeah, so I'm like industrial welder. So basically I'm a miner or a sawmiller or whatever. I go to mills, mines, plants. It doesn't end there though, I guess because I'm very versatile. Like I'm also an iron worker, so I could just drive into town right now and put up steel at any building in the city. But most of the work that I focus on is like heavy industrial welding. So I'll show up either with my welding truck or the company provides a welder. And then it's usually at a mine site inside their mill that's being shut down and repaired. So it's usually really gross, nasty, rusty metal that you're having to fuse with new metal. So it's not pretty welding. Like it's not clean stainless steel TIG
Mm-hmm.
welds. Nothing like that. That's part of the reason I don't show my welds online either, is I'll have a lot of people be like, "Oh, show the welds." It's like, no, you don't want to see that.
This isn't, yeah,
Like, I'm
it's
not a
not
bad welder.
decorative.
It's just in that circumstance, you're never gonna have like a TikTok or Instagram worthy weld. You're not. You're
Well,
not.
I mean, we talk to tradesmen and women all the time that, you don't see most of their work in
No.
our sector. It's all buried behind the walls or underground,
Yeah.
or and that's seems to be what most people are most proud of is like an electrician, for instance. It's
Mhm.
always like the backbone structure, the stuff that gets buried underground, because it is the most impressive stuff.
Mhm.
But people don't see it, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't always look pretty.
No.
But
Definitely not.
um, can you walk us through just a typical day when you get one of these jobs, and it's first day on site? What do you typically do? Are you going through drawings? Are you walking the
Um.
site?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of the site that I'm gonna go to in January. I believe it's just gonna be a 1 or 2 day shutdown. So hop in the truck. We have to have a mine site ready truck. So we gotta have a flashing beacon. We have to have a buggy whip, like a flag that goes in the back of the truck. We have to have a spill kit, first aid kit, all that type of stuff to be able to be ready on site. Um, so if my shift was a 7 p.m. night shift, I'd get there at the site. It's a 3.5 hour drive from here. So probably leave in the morning, sleep in the truck on the way there, pull up to site at 7 p.m. Then we have to do a safety meeting, so toolbox meeting in the lunchroom, get our work orders, see what's on the agenda for the night, and then depending on what I'm doing, take my truck over there, grab all my tools, have our work order, and then we go find our work area and assess the situation of the work and figure out what we need, if we need to weld, if we're not welding, if we just need sockets and impacts, or if we need a crane. Like you never really know what it's going to look like until you show up. And then, yeah, sometimes the work orders can take 12 hours. Sometimes they can take 1 hour. So it really just depends on what we're doing. And then, yeah, I'm usually 7 to 7, so night shift preferably. So I don't know. We pretty much just have to get our work orders done. And as soon as you finish one, your boss just gives you another one. And then once the clock hits 7, you're literally just free to go. So let's just say I had to weld a patch repair in a cyclone. So a cyclone is just a part of the mill that washes a bunch of water around through a tube. It's hard to explain. But inside the metal wears down and you have to go in and you have to patch repair it. So we're climbing in a confined space, so we need lockouts. We have to go lock out all the equipment. We have to wait for someone that's going to stand at our designated hole so we can climb in. And then, yeah, depending on the severity, if it's just a patch plate, then we'll just go cut a plate to size, bring it back in, grind the area, weld it up, and then it's done. There's a little bit more nasty stuff that kind of goes with it. I don't know. Have you ever heard of something called Nordback?
No.
Okay, so it's like a blue kind of crystal bead cement. So you'll mix it. It comes in a two-piece can. You'll mix it, and it turns into literal like cement. And you have to patch all of the holes that are in this thing because you can't have any material wear down and go through the equipment. And that's primarily what a day in my life would look like at work, is doing that
Are there
and
are
maybe
there
some welding.
are there any like inspections that you have to do and kind of prepare
Yes.
for?
Yes. Yes. So if sometimes it's just an inspection work order. So sometimes we'll just go in, inspect a conveyor. We have to see if does rollers need to be changed? Are the liners good? Are they all sitting at the height that they need to be at? Are all the doors secured? So yeah, we'll definitely do inspections on equipment and
And you
as well
perform
as
the
sorry.
inspections?
Yeah.
Is there? I
Yeah.
mean, you must have a laundry list of certifications for all of this, right?
Well, I'm a B ticket welder. I don't know if you guys know what the Canadian Red Seal. Okay, so it's like the Red Seal stamp, red stamp of Canada, basically just certifying that you can work anywhere. Until you have that, you're only limited to work in your province. So I failed that last year. I'm actually going for it again on the 15th of January. So wish me luck. But I'm only limited to really working in BC. I don't have my pressure ticket, so I can't go be a pipe welder. Like I'm actually quite limited to what I can do. So that's why I do this, because it's, in my opinion, the highest paying avenue of what I have for my tickets.
So what does that entail for the red ticket? Like,
So there's like level 1, 2, 3, and 4 for an apprenticeship, or you can do C, B, and A, which is what I did. So I went and did my C level of welding, which is 6.5 months of a course, and then you walk out of that automatically with your level 1 and 2, or C level, whatever they call it. And then from there, you have to get a certain amount of hours. And then you can go back for school for either your B level, or if you're in an apprenticeship, it would be your 3rd level. If you're in an apprenticeship and you're having to do your levels 1, 2, and 3 separately, then it's way quicker and you don't get a lot of time. And in my opinion, just way more stressful. I did them all. Like I had the time to go to school and sit down. So I did my B level and that was 4 months. And then out of that, you get the opportunity to write your Red Seal, which would then finalize your apprenticeship. You would be a journeyman Red Seal and you wouldn't have to go to school or any of that ever again. However, in BC, it's a little different. So to be a journeyman, even though I have all the hours and all that in the school, to be a journeyman, you need your Red Seal. So the Red Seal, it's a 125 question exam. You get 4 hours, and it's basically just an exam on anything and everything to do with welding.
is it open
Anything and
book?
everything.
Is it open book?
Sorry?
Is it open book at
No,
all? No.
no, no.
Just
I failed by 7%.
oh,
Yeah,
that sucks.
I know.
So you're doing it
So.
again this year or this
Yes,
coming
I'm
year?
going on the 15th of January, so I have been studying.
Oh, best of luck to you. How many
Thank you.
books, I guess, do you have to look over? How much material?
Oh my gosh. It's like a it's like that. It's like a huge
That's
box of books. The books are like that thick.
that's
And there's like
intimidating.
12 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gotta get at her.
Can you share can you share a lesson that you've learned along the way, whether that was a mistake um or something that you did correctly, just a lesson for any young welders out there that are thinking about the trade or already in the trade?
Okay. Number 1, don't sleep with your coworkers. Number 2, don't do drugs with your boss. Number 3, don't drive drunk with your boss. Number 4, show up every single day. And just because you're friends with your boss does not mean that you get any sort of shortcut.
So
And
separate
don't have sex with your boss.
separate personal life and professional life is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah,
got you. I'm
exactly.
following.
Keep your work life and your personal life completely separate.
What about on the job?
Okay. Your old timers are always going to be the ones that you learn the most from. So definitely respect the guys who have been there for a long time that you may think are stupid and outdated, but in reality know the most. And I think a lot of young kids nowadays think like, oh, I'm going to replace the old guys. And it's like the old guys are the reason that you guys are here. Like you need to learn from the old people, take people's advice, don't have an ego, don't be stubborn, and you have to be safe. I think a lot of people's egos is what gets people hurt nowadays. I mean, I don't know if you guys see anything on the news down there, but we had two deaths at the mines, both ones that I work at, days after I was there, and I was like, holy shit. So if
What
there's one thing,
happened?
like be your brother's keeper on the job. And if you work for a company where they try to rush you instead of enforce safety, you don't want to work for them. And I think there's a lot of people out there who think that there's like loyalty to jobs. And I think we got to defeat that stigma a little bit, because I think you should only be loyal to people who protect you and who can better your life. And there's really no point in being loyal to a boss who's going to put you in an unsafe position just to rush the job.
Agreed.
So-
Do you know what happened in those two scenarios?
So the first one that I heard about was actually at the coal mine that we were at. It happened the day after we left. So some of the guys that we worked with were still there actually. So apparently it was a foreman actually of one of the other contracting companies. And I don't know, I think the story is that he just went to go look for another job somewhere in one of the silos, and then a piece of equipment started up and he fell into the silo and they couldn't find him. So that was obviously really scary. But then, when you hear the story, you kind of think, well, that's not really positions I'm putting myself in ever. Like that's a lockout violation, right? Like somebody clearly screwed up there, because all that equipment should have been de-energized or locked out. And obviously if he was in a place with running equipment, then you have to know the risks, unfortunately. And the other one was a truck driver, like pickup truck driver, that got run over by one of their bigger trucks. Sorry, that's not funny.
I
But,
mean, we've seen crazy stuff happen too, where it's just
Yeah.
so random like that.
yeah.
Whether it's
So, and then actually shortly after that, the bus that takes some of the mine people up to the mine that I'm going up to in January crashed, not killed, sorry, but injured like 11 people on the bus. I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Like it's scary out there, and I'm kind of happy being like off work these days.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you think any of that has to do with like repetition, complacency, or anything like that?
Yes and no. Complacency for sure. I think that a lot of people, this kind of goes back to the argument I was saying earlier, how it's a boys' club, and I think that people will just hire their friends, and they'll hire less qualified people. I'm seeing an influx of less and less qualified tradespeople getting jobs, which I think is like, yeah, we all start somewhere, but I think at some point you can differentiate if someone's going to be a good tradesperson or if they're just not going to listen to you, not be a team player, not get anything right. So
do you have any desire to leave? I know you said you're Providence. So once you get your red seal this year upcoming, because you busted your butt for it, what is your plan after that?
Underwater welding.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
That's
serious.
wild.
I think I'm gonna go and start getting my rope access technician course. It's called IRATA, International Ropes Access Technician Association. And then I want to go do a diving course, which is gonna be pricey, but in the
Totally
end, it's
worth
going to
it.
be worth it because the money you make from underwater welding, if
Yeah.
given the opportunity, like who knows? I don't know if women even do that. You know what I mean? Like I want to work offshore, offshore rigs. So, you know, you need your rope access, you need an underwater welding ticket, you need diving, you need all that. And that's something I really want to do. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Liv Taylor Dodge.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so she's a shipyard welder, and she posted a few months back she got her dream job, and she's welding on the Gulf Coast somewhere on the offshore rigs, and she's killing it. And I'm like, that's my goal. I want to work like in the tropics, hanging off the water, hooked up by a harness,
Sounds
welding
amazing.
a
That
pile
sounds
cap.
cool. That does
Right.
sound really cool. Yeah, I asked the question really weird. I was gonna say, do you want to leave Canada? Do you want to go somewhere else? But I think you answered that.
Yeah.
You want to
Oh,
see
I
the
want to go
world.
everywhere.
Yeah.
My goal is to travel. That's
Yeah.
actually why I do social media.
Okay. Nice. Where's your, I guess, dream place to do underwater welding? Do you get to pick, or do
Oh,
you just get stationed in a place?
I don't know if you would really get to pick. I
Sure.
think, yeah, I have no idea. Like, I can't imagine that I'm gonna be like right away going to like Guatemala and being in the
Yeah.
tropics. It's probably gonna start on me like welding a bridge underwater in the river somewhere over here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably not going to be anything crazy, but I would love to. I don't even know. Like, that's such a hard question because it's like I don't know, like Hawaii, Mexico, Brazil,
Yeah.
like Bora Bora, anything with like infrastructure.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, the opportunities are endless for me, and I want to go anywhere that's I'm given the opportunity. Truly.
I think that's my new goal. I'm a big
Yeah.
diver.
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah.
can't weld worth a shit.
Hey, you know
But
what? You could be a underwater fire watch.
underwater basket weaver.
Is there really underwater fire watch?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say.
I don't think fires can start underwater. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I
Yeah.
wish I knew what the criteria was or what the requirements were for underwater welding. Are you pretty familiar with what you need to do?
No, I'm actually pretty uneducated on it. I do know that you need to have like some sort of diving course. I know that. I'm in contact with a company called Ocean Corp. Ocean Corp? Yeah, and they're in San Jacinto, Texas.
Hmm.
And they actually invited me earlier this year in May, for an Iron Woman welding competition.
Oh wow.
And then day 2 of that would have been learning how to underwater weld. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it at the time, but I'm really trying to go this coming year. And I think you never know, like that could be my foot in the door right there to learning how to underwater weld. Like I know them and they do it there. So um, I'll definitely be looking into it for sure when I go there.
That's badass.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
They always come like the videos. I don't know. Social media does a good job of like making things look really cool, and they like come up,
Agreed.
and I'm like,
Underwater
man,
welding is
how do you-
cool, no matter how you look at
Yeah.
it.
yeah. I guess there's always a dark side too. I don't know.
There is a dark side.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can die like really easily.
You could die doing anything though.
I think
That's true. That's a good way to look at things.
But I mean, your probability, right? Your opportunity is probably far greater doing
Yeah.
underwater welding. But
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about yourself, just outside of work? I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of things are you
Uh,
into? And
So when I'm not working, I really like to be outdoors. Maybe not so much right now because it's super cold, but normally I like to ride dirt bikes and I like to go camping and basically just do anything outside. I like to hike. I like to hunt. I can shoot guns. I I like going snowmobiling with my sister. I have an orange cat, so I'm really busy playing mom to him most of the time. So I'll take
Mm.
him out.
We just what kind of snowmobile
Sorry?
do you ride?
Well, it's my sister's, but it's an 850X.
Is that
It's a Skidoo.
Skidoo? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm a Polaris guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's her boyfriend has one of those.
Mm.
So I've also rode one of those. So,
Nice,
but I like hers better.
sweet.
Yeah.
Definitely more reliable.
Yeah. Right. Lately, I've been really into playing GTA. That's been my thing.
Nice. Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
sure
I've been doing
that
in my free time.
that helps the winter months go by.
It does. Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty gypsy. I move around a lot. I haven't had a solid home in a long time. I really like the lifestyle of traveling and moving around. Um, I grew up in Vancouver, but I quickly moved away when I was like 19 or 20 to way up north. I moved all the way up to Alberta by myself, and then I went to Port St. John, northern BC by myself, and I've traveled across Canada all the way to Ontario by myself. I really just like to live and frolic in my independence as a young woman.
Any travels outside of Canada?
Not for the past 5 years. Just because I don't, because of COVID and everything, that kind of I couldn't really travel, and then um, I'm a little, I'm a little scared right now to leave the country.
Yeah.
But I am planning on coming to Vegas in February. Um, you might have to cut this part out, but I'll tell you guys, I'm going on I haven't announced it yet, so I'm not allowed to say anything, but I'm fucking pumped for that because
That's
it'll be
really
cool.
my first ambassador brand trip.
That's
And
cool.
I get to go in the States. It's all expenses paid.
Wow.
And then I will be traveling to Texas this coming May for the welding competition. I'm also looking into coming for Fab Tech.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys heard of that,
Mhm.
but
Yep.
yeah.
Nice.
That's really cool. You've got a whole year ahead of you
Yes.
here in the
I'm very
States.
excited.
That's
I'm
cool.
excited. Scared, but excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's February, May, and then when's FabTech?
Is it in the summer or is it in the spring?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
Sorry.
with. No, I don't. I'm not familiar when the dates are, but yeah, we've both heard about it. So I had a question earlier. What's one thing that most people would be surprised to know about welding?
Mm,
I guess one thing that you were surprised that you had like the wrong idea about, or that you just didn't fully know.
okay. I think that in welding school, it can prepare you to weld very generic joints. Like they'll prep you very generic pieces of metal to weld, but in reality, when you get to the field, it is so much harder. Sometimes you're upside down, ass up, face down, legs over here, like welding in the craziest spaces ever. And I think that's something I wasn't prepared for too, and especially if you're a skinny and small person, be prepared for your company to stick you in all the tight spaces. And it's like welding school was hard, like learning how to weld, but learning how to weld out of position is even harder. So my thing was definitely like once I got out of a shop, like everything changed. So that was definitely the shock. Is fabrication shop welding very different from field welding.
Sure.
What's more
Yeah.
difficult, the positions you need to be in the field, or like the condition of what you're welding? Or pretty equal?
Oh, I think it's like 50-50. I think
Is it?
both can be just as bad. Like I've had to weld sometimes where I'm walking in like 2 feet of water. Like I'm wearing boots, so it's like it's okay. But I mean, there are a lot of people out there who would definitely be like, "Ew, I'm not doing that," and it's like the kid can be in a shop. You know what I mean? Like the pay is where it's at with the field jobs. So
Sure.
yeah.
Um, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Sports Illustrated swimwear model, front cover, blue collar women edition. 10 years, I don't know, living in my mansion in Texas with my animals and my custom welding shop and my guns and my rich famous welder husband.
What's your dream? What's your okay? So let's say you do get your $1 million mansion in Texas and your custom weld shop. What would you be welding? What's
So my goal is eventually to have enough space where I can weld custom art. So I would like to get into sculptures or just any sort of, like, literally any sort of custom anything. Like if there was anyone who wanted me to weld something for them, like I have like my Instagram. Obviously, I'm really hoping that that gets to a point where I'm able to monetize and like sell, I guess, in a sense where I could, post a video of me welding a sculpture and then someone's like, "Oh, I want to buy that for 50 grand."
Mhm.
Like that's kind of my goal, is to be able to work hard now and then reap the rewards of my hard work in 5 to 10 years, where I can just have my own home shop and then still be able to make money with my skills.
Mm.
But right now, I think I'm really just trying to not do anything too permanent, because I don't know if I'm going to be staying like in Canada for the rest of my life. Just because I think possibly like there's a whole other side, I guess, of just the blue collar and the welding stuff that I'm interested in. Like um I'm 6 foot tall and really skinny and blonde. I have had the potential to go into modeling, so I might take that route, which is something that I think nowadays social media is the number one currency. So if you're not on social media and you're not trying to brand yourself, then what are you doing? And I know that every other girl out there nowadays is tall, skinny, and blonde and blue eyes. So I had to make myself a little bit more authentic and go down the blue collar route. Because obviously attractive women in a male dominated space, I hate talking about myself like that. Attractive women in a male dominated space is more rare. So I'm just trying to capitalize on the niche and hopefully grow my wallet and my platform in the next 5 to 10 years and then be able to reap the rewards and keep doing my art.
That reminds me of a story. I was doing a job back in 2017, and it was this big development, and we had all these light poles, like street lights, that we were installing. And the city I was working in was like, you bought the wrong light poles. You need to get these ones. And we're like, oh shit, we already bought them all. They're sitting in a pile over there. They're like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. Get the right ones.
Oh,
And so I was like, what do I do with these 30 foot tall? I had 30 of them, and they were 30 foot tall light poles.
Sure.
And so I listed them on Facebook Marketplace, or I guess Craigslist back then. And this guy comes and he's like, how much do you want for them? I'm like, I don't know, $4,000. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll go get a trailer. And I'm like, no way. What are you gonna do with these? He's like, I'm an artist, and he was a welder and an artist, and he made this big like octopus thing or like spider thing out of the light poles.
Really?
And it was for like, yeah, it was for like another municipality bought it from him, and it's up in, I think, like Fort Collins, Colorado to this day.
He probably made a good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it just reminded me
That's
of that.
awesome.
Yeah. So you can do
Yeah,
some,
that's my goal. Literally, I search Marketplace all the time for little things. I'm meant to go get some horseshoes actually this weekend. I want to make some horseshoe stuff, like make wine bottle racks or shoe hooks or anything. So yeah, that's really cool. I'm really interested in that stuff.
yeah, it was definitely interesting. So it sounds like you're an artist too. Do you do other art, or do you?
Well, it's hard because I don't like, this is I have my own little setup here, but I mean, I don't have anything too like really crazy to go ham on here. So I mean, I made. Well, I don't have it in here. I would show you, but I made like a little ashtray.
Hmm.
Like I had an old diamond coring bit, like a big one, like this big, and I just chopped it and left the top part and made like a little ashtray. It's really cool. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't really like have like
Yeah.
I'm just getting started.
Gotcha.
Like I want to
You're interested.
Yeah.
Yep. We typically do a little break around the 45-minute mark. How much
Okay.
time do you have cut out for us?
Oh, I have all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Do you mind
anything.
if we just take a quick break? So just to get back into the trade talk, do you I was thinking about this earlier. Do you work with other trades out in the field, or are you pretty much just with the group of welders? Or
Yeah, no, I work with all trades. I work with equipment operators, I work with crane operators, I work with millwrights, I work with electricians, I work with mill operators. I work with all sorts of trades. There's every trade has an integral part of what we're doing for sure. Yeah, I think I work mostly with millwrights and operators.
I don't know what millwrights is. What does that mean?
Um, the best way that I've actually ever been able to explain it to someone is literally just break down the word. Mill, right. Your job is to make the mill right. Your
Oh.
job is literally to go in and fix
We lost you.
We
the
lost
mill
Oh, there you
we
go.
lost
and
your sound.
make it right. So sorry?
We lost your sound just for a second.
Oh,
You're back.
sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I got a phone call. I so yeah, the millwright just goes in and is required to fix the equipment, inspect the equipment, figure out how to troubleshoot why the equipment's not working. It's mostly like it can be. There's so many sectors of millwrighting. Like there's the mills, like the plants and the conveyors and the rollers and the hydraulic pump systems and the feed systems and all that stuff. That's a little bit more complicated on my end of stuff. I don't really do anything that requires like numbers with like pressure valves or hydraulics and stuff like that, or motors, and I don't deal with stuff like that. I'm mostly on like the structural side of it, but the millwrights are the ones that like if there is a feed chute system that's like down and not running, the millwright's going to be the one that figures out how to fix that basically. And the welder is going to be the one that comes in and does the physical fixing after the millwright's told them what needs to be fixed.
Gotcha.
So
How many, I guess, is there a long, extensive list of safety things that you have to do? I guess a better way to ask it would be, how important is safety culture in industrial welding?
it's always site specific for sure. So like yeah, it really is. So obviously safety, they really like to preach safety, but I mean the mine that I like to go to the most and I work at the most, it's the type like if I was to walk around without my safety glasses, I'll maybe get in shit from one person. But then there's like you'll go to other sites where like safety is on you. Like if you don't have your safety glasses on for a second, they're breathing down your neck. You have to write out field level hazard assessments. We call them FLAHAs. And it's a pre-job checklist you have to do at every single start of your shift, every single day. You have to fill out the hazards, what you're doing, the hazards related to your task, and how you can control the hazard. And you have to write out in detail. And sometimes you have to do a fall protection calculation sheet where you have to calculate your fall. So if you're standing 10 feet up and you have a 6-foot lanyard on you with a 2-foot shock absorber and you're 6 foot tall, well, you're definitely going to hit the bottom. So you know what I mean? Like there's math you have to do and stuff like that. yeah, I work at a lot of heights a lot, so I have to be tied off. Um, yeah, I do a really dangerous job compared to maybe most welders. So safety is very important to me because if I'm not safe, I either will fall and plummet to my death or like lose a finger.
Mm.
So um, yeah, I take safety very seriously for sure, especially wherever I go. Especially the guys are idiots. Sometimes you'll have guys who are secretly on drugs or show up hungover, or their minds aren't on task because they're fighting with their wives, and it's those are the men that put you in danger. So you always have to prepare yourself. But
Yeah, we
yeah,
Cody and I have both witnessed accidents. Luckily, no deaths on my end, but definitely injuries and some more serious than others. Question that popped into my mind is: do you think the paperwork that you do before you start your tasks is effective, or do you think it's busy work?
if you're asking me personally, I don't think it's effective. I think that it's a plan that they put in place to cover your asses. Because I think that I'm pretty sure that the underlying rule is like if you don't fill your flaha out and you get hurt, like that's basically your golden ticket to being covered and like compensated. Because let's just say I I'm going to go welding and I didn't specifically write down on my flaw that I was going to be working at heights. And then I go and put a harness on and then I fall. And they're like, well, why wasn't working at heights on your fall on your flaw? And then they can get you for that. So it's like, I think it's effective to them. I think it's a them thing. I don't think I know if I'm at the same site for a week and I'm doing the same thing for the week and I'm writing a fucking flaw every single fucking day of the week and it's the same thing over and over and over, you're downright I'm copying the date and saving it. Like I'm not rewriting that again. So no, I don't think it's effective when it's constantly redundant because
Mm-hmm.
they want you to do the same thing over and over and over and over. If your task doesn't change, why do you have to do it again? But they still make you do one over and over. If your task changes, then they make you change your flaw. So
Follow-up question: what do you think would be more effective in actually protecting workers? Do you have any ideas? Or it's a tough question.
I mean, it's hard to say, and knock on wood, I've never been hurt in my life. I've never put myself in a position where I was unsafe. And yeah, I know shit happens, but I can almost name every incident that I've heard about where something happened that I'm like, you could have easily avoided that. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
preventable. Most of what I've heard. Obviously, yes, shit happens, but if you're working with a partner and you're communicating with them, then there should be no reason that your partner, drops something on your hand and breaks your hand. Like I was just on a site a couple months ago where this 19-year-old kid that I worked with got his fucking hand broken. His hand's gonna be screwed for the rest of his life because of that. All the fractures in his hand that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was working with some old timer who didn't care enough to be complacent enough to not do that to him. He's like in the situation that I heard from that, they should have been out of the way when that thing dropped and it dropped right on Buddy's hand. And old timer didn't tell him to get out of the way. And it's like there's just situations where it's like you need to have a partner who's going to be your brother's keeper, literally. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think, oh, our job is so easy because we know how to do it, but like it doesn't mean that our job isn't really hard and really dangerous. And I think that sometimes I don't want to say old timers. It can just be any trades guy with an ego who
Mm-hmm.
thinks that they can just push around a young person. Well, listen to me, you gotta get it done. And it's like, that's how you get hurt. That's how you get hurt. And I don't really think there is anything that you can do like I don't think there's anything you can put in place anymore. They keep putting more things in place over and over. Soon they're gonna start make us all wear those chin strap uh head hard hats. So like I'm like what else can they do? I don't know.
I told my boss that's the day I'm out. It's when we gotta wear the
Yeah.
when we gotta wear the chin strap.
Yeah, me too.
uh,
Valid. Me too.
um, yeah. Just to respond to your comment, every incident that I've witnessed or had to deal with the aftermath of an injury, I would say all of them could have been prevented. And yeah, I think you're right when you say, it's just holding the people accountable and looking out for especially the younger, more inexperienced people. I think is more effective than the busy work paperwork in my mind too. It's always good
Yeah.
to stop and think about what you're doing and ask questions on the situation that you're going to be in, um, and put systems in place. But yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of the paperwork can turn into busy work and just kind of
Yeah.
CYA at the end of the day.
It can also be a little bit of like a like, I don't know, there's definitely been mornings where I knew that what I had to do and I was really gung ho to go do it, and I knew that if I didn't go and get it done right away, something else was gonna come and like whether it's going and securing that Zoom boom of her before somebody else takes it, and it's like the fact that like you can literally get in trouble for going and doing that without filling out your flaw, and it's like, dude, like we gotta get our job done, and that's where
Mhm.
I'm being a hypocrite, being like, oh, we're rushing,
Yeah, I
but
mean, there's a fine line, I
yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Well, like I was on a job a couple months ago, actually the same job where Buddy broke his hand, and I was working with this old guy, and I remember working with him, and we're working up on this structure, and there was handrail around us, but I was doing a little bit of like a stepping up onto like the structure, so I was like, I feel like we should be wearing a harness. I feel like we should have harnesses. I really do. And he didn't let me go get a harness, just wanted to continue working. Anyway, who shows up like an hour later, catches me standing on the handrail? My fucking boss, the owner of the company. And he screamed at me, he's like, get down right now, put a fucking harness on. I was like, yeah, I'm toast. Like they laid me off after that. That's a huge violation.
Yeah.
I lost the job because I listened to somebody else.
Didn't
And yeah,
didn't follow your gut.
I'll take accountability for that. It was my own choice. I should have listened to myself and told him to go fuck himself and get a harness. But he was also the same type of guy who, when I had to go weld something on the structure and I asked to grind the paint off before I welded it so that it wasn't a dog shit weld, looked good on me, looked good on the structure. It would have taken 2 minutes for me to go and get the grinder and come back. Didn't let me do that. Who comes around later to come and inspect the welds? One of the other foremen, and he literally told me to grind it out and redo it. Men don't want to listen.
Just sounds like he just sounds like he likes to cut corners left and right.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of young workers get put in that position, and their quality of work gets brought down. Their safety gets brought down, all because you have a guy with an ego. That's what people should. That's what we need to put in place. Is let go of fire all the guys who do shit like that. How about that? That's
Yeah,
how we
I
can
mean,
put more safety in place.
Cody and I are both in management now, and we both started in our industry young as well, straight out of high school or college, depending on which one of us you ask. But being young in the blue collar world is a whole, it's a whole thing on its own. And then
Mhm.
being a woman in the blue collar world is, I would say, a separate thing. I've dealt with the being young portion of it, and I don't know, just to any of the young guys out there, or young guys or girls, you need to follow your gut and take the time to protect your own well-being at the end of the day, because there are those people out there that will put the job ahead of your well-being. I've seen it. I've been a part of it, and I will back the young guy 10 times out of 10 if he tells someone to fuck off for making him do something that's not safe. I think that's just very important for young people to hear that are in the same position.
So how do you do that in your opinion, for being in those scenarios where you've had to cut, not you cutting corners, but you didn't take the extra minute to say, no, I'm not going to be the jackass in this scenario. How would you redo those scenarios if you could?
Yeah, if I could just go back
Mhm.
and redo that, I definitely would just the moment that I felt like, "Hey, I should put a harness on," like, that was my gut, that was my intuition telling me, you should be tied off," and I didn't listen because I mean, yeah, there's so much more context that really kinda would make you understand, but, like, for example, that was my first job with that company. So that was a shutdown I went to go do where I had never worked for the company before. Number two, it was a really, really good company that I was trying to get on with for so long. Like I was trying to talk to any guy that worked for them to try and get me on their crew. And then when I finally did, that was the shift that I was given, was that shutdown. They like themselves were all stressed because they, within the first day, they had someone on that crew break the crane, like shock load the crane inside the mill. And then the second day, that kid broke their hand. So it's like they had all of this stuff going on, and then it was the fourth, I think it was my last day. Yeah, it was my last day. It was a 4-day shutdown. It was the last day, and my boss caught me on the handrail, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" And I I kind of knew that I might have been done after that, because like that's such a huge no-no. Like that was one of the sites where safety was 100% all the time, and they had already had a couple incidents. I think they just saw me as a liability, literally. And yeah, the boss ended up calling me a few days later and told me that yeah, basically just said I was like a liability. And I was like, thanks.
So do you get blacklisted, or how does that work?
I'm not blacklisted. I'm yeah, blacklisted from that company, I guess. Like I wouldn't go work for them,
Mhm.
but I still go to the same places. Just like I work for multiple different companies. I At one point I was working for, right now I only work for two. At one point I was working for like four or five. It just depends on who calls you out to a job. So, but that, yeah, that company let me go after that. It is what it is. It's fine.
You might be lucky for getting out of that one if they had so many incidents going on.
That's what I said. I'm like, okay, out of all the stuff that you just happened, you're worried about something that didn't even happen with me. You're worried about a near miss with me,
That's
even though you had all of that going. I'm like, okay,
s-
whatever. I don't want to be part of that anyway.
sounds like a ticking time bomb, unfortunately.
Exactly. So,
Uh, so you mentioned that work is slow right now. You don't really have anything going on at this moment. How's the market been just in general for you for the last 6 years?
like, oh, the working market, like in terms of getting jobs and stuff.
Yep.
Um, in the last year, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't know, but jobs have been really hard to come by in the last year. Last time that I actually had a full-time stable job was March 2024. And that was a group layoff. Like the job ended. So we all got laid off after that. I chose to sit at home for 2 months and not work. But then I got a job that only lasted the summer. And then I went to welding school, and then I wasn't working until January of this year. And the only thing that I've been able to do this year is shutdowns. Like I've been actively looking for a new construction job that has like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, or somewhere. And I'm like I said, like I don't know if it's just me, but I have heard from other people it's really, really slow, and the industry has been starving people this year.
Mm-hmm.
Starving.
Yeah,
Like we are starving.
it's pretty similar where we're at too. Just in general with like interest rates and the cost
Hmm.
of building in our sector at least. There's been a slowdown recently, but yeah, I think that's normal. I mean, there's ups and downs
Yeah,
in this kind of work.
for sure.
So I'm sure if you stick with it, I'm sure you're gonna have years where you're just like, I can't catch a break here. Like,
Yeah. And even like this year, there was like I was super busy in February, March, April, May. Like I had a lot of shutdowns going on, and then I didn't work at all in July. And then from like August 5th until beginning of October, I was working every single freaking day. And I was like, I need a break. And
Mhm.
then it slowed down again in November. And now I'm chilling again, which is okay. Like with the shutdowns, I mean, I don't like to talk money too much, but I mean, from one shutdown, you make a pretty penny. Like, so it can keep you by for a while. Like, obviously, I don't have kids, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have all that, so it's a
Mhm.
lot easier for me as a young woman with a truck payment. So I I've just tried to balance my shifts and balance the paychecks that I get from that. Like I haven't worked at all in December. We were supposed to have a shutdown on the 15th to the 17th and they canceled it. Like they called us all and they were like, sorry, we don't have the work anymore. So then they cancel it. And I'm like, that just is what it is. You know what I mean? There's literally nothing you can do about that. And you just gotta wait for the next one. So it's like if you don't have income from the last month, then it's like a lot of people would be screwed. But it's like that's why I rely so heavily on social media. I make a pretty good amount from my commission-based collabs and just my following, and that really helps me get by in the slow months.
So, how did you know? I guess, was there a moment in your life or career that you were like, I need to really ramp it up on the social media sector to get me by these lulls, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that was like yeah, for sure, that was last year. That was
Yeah.
in the summer of last year right before went to welding school. So I, um I have been doing TikTok since 2020. When everyone started doing TikTok, I hopped on there and, started posting my girly little stuff and then didn't really go anywhere with it. And then I went to welding school and I just started posting myself in welding and like that translated so well. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, woe is me here, but I know that I was one of few old timer blue collar girls on TikTok.
Mhm.
Not so much anymore, but at the time there was nobody else that I knew that was doing that. And any time I posted any video of me doing anything with a welding helmet on, it would blow up. And that
Mm.
was like fall 2020. So that was like 5 years ago. And so I got like a good 10, 20,000 followers from that. And then, um, but I just was also kind of in a period of my life where I wasn't as confident as I am now. I didn't really come into who I am, I guess, yet. And so I was way more nervous, way more shy, way more insecure. I did not want to post anything. I was scared. I was too nervous. And so then it was like 2022, I think. I posted a couple more videos that like went really viral of me like looking cute, like with my blonde hair and like my welding helmet and stuff. And that did really good, but still wasn't really like fully into it yet. And then 2023, something just like clicked and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start pushing on this like a little bit more. And I posted a few videos in the spring. They all blew up. I actually got like a two Savage glasses order sent to me in the mail from them. And this was back, I had like probably like maybe 20K. Like it wasn't, I don't, not that I have that much right now. I only have 50K. But all of my influx of followers came really from like summer of last year until now. So I've really been busting on my social media since probably yeah May or June 2024 till now. I started my Instagram account, like my Blonde Welder one that has almost 40K. I started that account maybe like a year and a week ago today. Like I started it like end of November, early December of last year. And I had already hit well over 30K in like September, October, I think. And it's like I haven't even had the account for a year and I'm almost at 50,000 followers. My TikTok is at 50,000 followers now. I realized being laid off last year, not making the money that I once was, I'm like, okay, I have to figure out something else. And if anyone that doesn't know, like social media is the number one currency nowadays. And if you're not on social media, you're not making money. And that's just facts. It's true. I think that um, I have bad ADHD.
No worries. No worries. So I guess what keeps you going on the hardest days? There's got to be like moments where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I felt really defeated after that shutdown I just had where I got laid off after something that wasn't in my control. I don't know. I guess I've done a lot of work mentally, emotionally, physically to try and desensitize myself to stuff like that. And I don't know. I've really been through some tough shit. Here's a story. I was 22. I was an ironworker apprentice for the union, and I had guys journeyman throwing shit at my feet, saying, "Carry this, bitch." Like, I had men do horrible, horrible things to me. It's really, like, I hate to say it, but, like, I am so desensitized to it nowadays that nobody really messes with me like that anymore, I guess, either, because I'm like I said, I really did a lot of growing and came to myself and in my confidence, and, like, I tell grown men to F off now. I'm not afraid to hit a man. I'm not afraid to sack a man, and that has been shown on job sites before, and I haven't been fired. So,
I guess, how do you get
I
to that point? Is it just over time you have a threshold and it's just you're done, or
it takes a lot of work. I think you have to be a specific person to really be able to withstand that, and as as bad as this might sound, there are just people out there who aren't cut out for it, and that's okay. Like, there
Mhm.
is a spot for everybody in this world, but you have to know that, like, there's no point in stressing yourself out under over something you cannot control. So if you're showing up to a job site and you're being belittled by men constantly, you have two choices for yourself. You either stick the job out and keep continuing to fail that way, or you leave. And that's another reason why I've tried to bump my social media, is because I've set myself up now in a way where if I don't want to work and I don't want to go out and deal, if I showed up in a job and I immediately sense that, like, this is not going to be good, I'm gone. And
Mhm.
that's okay. I don't care if I fucking burn bridges. I don't try and burn bridges, but I'm not going to put myself now in situations where I'm going to let myself get upset like that and get worked up or get harassed. I
Mhm.
did that too much getting into the industry, that now to the point I'm just, if a guy tries to beak off to me or say anything to me, I just walk away.
Sure.
Um, it's so hard. It's so much harder, or so much easier said than done. But I feel like a lot of women come into the trades thinking that it's me against the men. I have to fight these men head on and all this stuff. It's like, the men are going to be the way they are at every single job. You just sometimes get lucky with a good crew of maybe dudes who have daughters that are your age and care about you. But in reality, 95% of the men that I work with on job sites are horrible. So now, being in the trades for 6 years, like, I wish I could have this conversation with my younger self for sure,
Mhm.
because I wanna give that girl a hug. She put up with so much shit from men just for money, that now I'm at a point where I'm like, "Oh my god, money is not everything. Yes, I love my job. Yes, I love coming to work. Yes, I still have an incredible work ethic, but I also know what I allow."
Mhm.
And I think that that's definitely a struggle that some women probably face. That's not just me. It's like, you can be really good at your job, really talented, and know a lot of people, but the jobs are usually going to go to men before they do a woman, and you have to be okay with, like, sitting at home until you get a job. And it's taken a lot to get here. I choose not to go union. I know there's a lot of people that can go out and get in the union and get jobs with the union. I don't want to be in the union because of past experiences I've had. I only can get by really having the contacts in the trade that I do. Um, but yeah, I've definitely lost jobs, left jobs, and missed out on opportunities just because I chose not to put myself in a situation where I thought I was going to be harassed or belittled.
Do you foresee that ever changing?
No, no, maybe in like 50 years, but I'm not going to be around for that. So,
Well,
I think it's gotten better, but I think now there's just kind of like this stigma that it's like, oh, well, companies get, money back or a percentage back for hiring DEI hires, for hiring women. And it's like, so people will just kind of be like, oh, you're just hired here for numbers,
do you think that's
you know?
do you think that's more harmful or do you think that helps?
No, that's more harmful, is what I'm saying. Is
Mm.
like, is it's not evolving in the way that people might think that it's evolving. Like, oh, we're pushing women in the trades. No, No, you're embarrassing women in the trades. That's just me.
In your words, how, if you could, what steps would you take to fix that?
Mm, I think that every single person that's hired in a welding facility needs to do a weld test before they get hired. How about that? Then it's no fucking gender, just skill level. How about that? Because
Qualifications
I because
first.
I can guarantee you, myself and lots of other women I know could show up and weld circles around some of the guys that work in these places. They suck. And they're only there because they're good with the boss.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to hear, especially because in the trades, I mean, Nick and I have kind of seen where we're at. There was a massive boom, and we were just kind of hiring whomever, regardless of where they came from, what they were doing. But we're kind of in this, in my opinion, we're in a season where, unfortunately, guys that or ladies who haven't gotten it, I would say where we're at, they're not going to be able to maintain or keep a job. The people who have skills are going to be able to keep the jobs where we're at. So
Yeah.
I hope it hits the industry worldwide where skill set is truly factored in the job making or decision making.
Yeah. I think that's a huge lack in some of these jobs that I do, especially. Is I just feel like that's where I like constantly shake my head the most and get frustrated the most. And it's like I'll watch these guys who aren't that great at tradesmen, fuck up jobs, blow jobs. Cut that. Blow
Nope,
shifts.
that's the no, I'm just kidding.
Blow shifts, don't show up for work. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what frustrates me is guys like that who get handed the work
Mhm.
over people. And it's not even just me. Like, I know other people who are very good workers and they're in the same boat. All the work goes to everyone else. And it's like, why don't we ever get anything?
Mm.
I don't know. Like, I know that I have the skills. I've seen it. I've shown up and worked with losers. I'm like, why am I working with you? Like, So it's just that's where I get frustrated. It's like I think that the wrong ones get like protected.
Sure. Yeah. So how do you keep improving your skills over time to make sure that you're that person?
Um, well, I have my own little TIG welder here. I've been really focusing on trying to improve my welds while I'm not working. So there's that. I am going to be going for my pressure tickets. So I'm going to be right here practicing pipe, and that's going to give me more tickets. I guess I'm just constantly looking for like what's out there for jobs online. Yeah, I just try and like I get my testing done and um it's valid for 2 years. So you do that every 2 years. So like no matter what, I think my skills are just like once you learn how to weld, it's kind of hard to lose that, but I think that you can always get better. So if I'm not working, I'm just trying to like become a better welder here in the garage. Um, and then yeah, once I go get my pipe ticket, that'll open a lot of doors for more work. That's yeah. I think you touched on something earlier. You mentioned, oh, you must have like a conglomerate of tickets then if you're doing all that. And it's like, and I mentioned, no, I actually only do what I can with those tickets. If I had a pipe ticket and a red seal, I could be going anywhere in Canada right now doing really cool shit. But I'm not because I don't have those. And like have never had the opportunity to have my own shop here. This is the first place I've lived in where I've had any sort of garage space to do any welding or anything like that. So you guys are witnessing the era of the blonde welder becoming bigger and better.
Excited to see it for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, just to kind of wrap things up here. Is there a message that you want to put out to anyone that might be listening to this, whether it's a young person thinking about getting into welding or an old timer that you want to tell to eat shit, or anyone that might be listening?
Yeah.
Just a general message.
Yeah. I'd say, if you're interested in getting into the trades, definitely know what you want to do before you do it, because there is lots of good trades out there. And, there is times where, even though I became a welder, there is times that I wish I chose another trade. Every trade's going to feel like that. I think it's a really good idea to look into a trade sampler course at your local trade school, and just put yourself around tradespeople. The industry is entirely made of who you know, not what you know. So, if you feel like you don't have any contacts or you don't know who to talk to, like, I'm talking, like, if you're at the gas station at 5 a.m. and you see a fucking blue collar man getting his coffee, you're gonna ask that guy, "Hey man, where are you working? Guys need any workers?" Like, that is literally how you network. I've been to a grocery store and seen a service truck in the middle of the parking lot, and I saw the dude and I was like, "Hey, what do you do for work?" Like, obviously, little warning, maybe young women, like, maybe just be careful if you're gonna do that. But network, make connections, try and talk to the right people. You never know if Blow Joe down the road has a fucking welding company that's looking for a welder right now, and that's definitely the best way to get into jobs. If you have an opportunity and union is something that you're interested in, unions offer great apprenticeships for young workers, and they'll take pretty much anyone in at the age of 18, as long as you can prove that you have a skill. And for all the old timers out there, how about, instead of being jealous and bitter over all the youngins that you think are taking your place, why don't you try and spread your knowledge and, spread your seed and make all the youngins like you, experienced and seasoned. Don't be all jealous that you're not getting the spotlight anymore.
Yeah, time
That's my
time to pass
advice.
time to pass the torch for some people, and
Exactly.
unfortunately, when people retire and they leave, that's it. They can't pass on any more knowledge. So
No.
it's
So,
it's your opportunity now while the people are coming in and looking to gain that knowledge at this point. It's a way to pass that down, and honestly, it's kind of like starting a tradition. If you can pass down
yeah,
that knowledge and
yeah,
people can yeah, take that and run with it for decades if they want to.
yeah. And I think that we need to be nicer to girls in trades, because we do a good job too.
100%. I mean, through the short time that we got to talk with you, you shared so much passion, which is extremely exciting for me to hear. And you've
Thank
also
you.
opened up, yeah, of course. And you've also opened up just the, I don't know how I want to say it because it pisses me off, but you've opened up just how you've been through the ringer, and it is very unfortunate. And I applaud you for keeping with it and sticking to your guns and sticking to your passion, because
Thank you.
it's humbling for me, and it's also super inspiring. So thank you for your story and your
Thank
time.
you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, no, you've earned your stripes, it sounds like, and I hope you keep putting stuff in
Thank
your
you.
toolbox.
Yeah. Hey, if you're wondering why I keep going, it's the money. The
Sure.
money
Yeah.
is the reason that
That's
I
why
keep
we do
going.
this stuff.
Yeah. So,
Sweet. Well, thank you again for joining Ruction Nation, and it's been a pleasure meeting you, the Blonde Welder.
thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yep.
Thanks.
Hope to hear from you again soon.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah, reach
Okay.
out if you're in the States or if you ever come to Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that. Maybe we can do like an in-person pod or something.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We'd be open to it.
Cool.
Sweet.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Take care.